Hi, I'm Alex and welcome to Love Supreme TV. May 2013 will mark the 40th anniversary since Sunderland won the FA Cup in 1973. To commemorate the event, a Love Supreme magazine will be releasing a one-off special issue. We spoke to some fans around Sunderland to find out what their memories of 1973 are.
And do I think winning the FA Cup was the greatest moment? Probably because it's the only moment we've had.
We've got to concentrate on the present. That's it, that's the end of that. Sunderland winning the FA Cup still relevant.
It's like a training game.
No, it's only relevant because we've had nothing else since then. Everybody holds on to the last thing they've won. And we haven't won anything else since. I remember the 73 Cup final, the greatest match I've ever seen was when we beat Chelsea.
What, 3-0?
Well, we're beaten 4-1, we were 4-0 up at half-time. That was the greatest match I've seen.
It's been a long time since that momentous day, and a long time since Sunderland won any trophies. We spoke to a Love Supreme's Paul Dobson, who well remembers the FA Cup win.
I was 16 going on 17 at the time, went down with a bunch of mates that I've been going to Roker with for the last few years, and I just remember getting the bus very early from Bishop down there, going straight to the game, and then seeing them go up the Wembley way, all the red and whites. But the game really sort of flew past once it got kicked off. It was a long time waiting for it to kick off, and then once it did go, you remember the bits, you know, the Monty saving Dick Malone clearance. You remember him, Dick Malone rampaging down the wings, Ron Guthrie doing likewise, and Vic Allen knocking David Harvey into the back of the net with a shoulder charge that should have stood really. But you know, at the end of the game it was like complete disbelief that, you know, we've actually won it. We've won the cup, and the whole place afterwards outside going back on the tube. So our bus was at Victoria Coach Park apparently. It was tremendous. I obviously haven't been to a cup final for 21 years, but I think it's so much better then than it is now. You know, there was just so much expectation amongst people. It's not like today where you get your Man United, your Chelsea there, they think they're going to win it. They think they know they're going to win it. We went there, we hoped and we expected, and there was a big banner there. I remember it had on something really corny like "We W-E-R going to win the cup," and at the end it pulled two bits of string and it fell down and said "We've won the cup." So it actually had it on there, and you know, there were people there with paper cut out FA Cups covered in foil with its string, and people had rosettes. You know, it was that a much more innocent age, if you like, then than it is now, where it's just, now it's all about money. You know that most of the clubs, well, everybody who's affiliated, the FA gets so many tickets, like Bishop Auckland, which is how some of my mates got them. People just won't, I don't think they go now with them, they just pass them on to somebody else, and, or, you know, they're not supposed to sell them, they probably do, but I think the atmosphere back then was, it was such a really big occasion. Now it's stuck away and it's at the tea time, and if you go to follow another club, you're not going to see it because you're at the match. It was the big thing, you know, the cameras got on the buses from the hotels and followed them through and did all this. You had to knock out on the pitch, you had the Dagenham Girl Pipers and the RAF dog handling team doing things on the pitch. We had Emil Putterman's getting beat by David Bedford over 3,000 metres around the running track, and David Bedford chose to wear red and white socks, which sort of endeared us, and in real life he always got beat by Putterman's. On that day he won, and it was fantastic. It's all part of the build-up. I think it's been so much lost now. I don't even know if they still do abide with me. We had Frankie Vaughan, who was, you probably never heard of. He was a tremendous singer back then, and he did abide with me before the game, and the whole, you know, best part of 100,000 people singing from both sides, and that sort of thing's gone now. So I think it was a better occasion back then. In terms of a smaller club winning it, it's always possible. You know, Bradford got to the League Cup final and sadly didn't bother turning up in any way, shape or form. It's always possible. If you've got 11 men against 11 men on any given day, you can do it, and if you do it 6 times, you can win the cup. In the league, it's much more difficult, but it's entirely possible, but less likely now than it was then. You know, a lot of people this year, with it being the 40th anniversary, as you might have heard, there's a lot of stuff going on, and some people are saying, "Oh, I think it's a bit sad that you're living in the past." But if you don't celebrate what you've achieved, there's no point achieving it in the first place. It's there to be celebrated. You know, I've got a house full of tickets from the cup run with autographs on. You know, and I saw Jimmy Monty last week at the game, and he's. Do you mind talking about it? He says, not in the slightest. He loves it. And about 10 years ago on the way to Tottenham, we kidnapped him on the train. And said, sit down there and talk about the cup final and talk about something else. And at the end we apologised. He says, no, to apologise about, lads. He said, I love it, absolutely love it. So I think it is important to celebrate your history, otherwise there's nothing to look forward to, because if you're not going to celebrate what you do next year, in 5 years' time, what's the point of doing it?
Tell us what you think on our forum or leave a comment below. That's all we have time for on A Love Supreme television. Goodbye and keep the faith.